All right, guys. So we are back. Welcome back. We have just dived into or reviewed our direct material purchase budget. And here is the summary, the cleaned up version of this. And I even showed you what sections I got each of these numbers from. So if you were a little lost in the last video or I didn't go directly in order for the steps, I send my apologies, and this is the cleaned up version of how we get to there. So just to review where we've been so far, we're looking at a budget, right? And it all starts with we're looking at a master budget, right? So it's a huge master budget. And now we're breaking down the components of a master budget. And in doing so, we have realized that it all starts or kicks off with the sales budget. And then from the sales budget, once we have realized how many units we would like to sell, we are now going to look at the production of those units that we would like to sell, right? We're going to get into production of them. Once we have understood how many units we want to produce, now we're looking at, okay, what is the materials needed to produce these units? But we know that from prior chapters, in order to manufacture a good, we need direct materials, we need direct labor, and we need overhead. And so in the prior video, we looked at direct materials, but direct materials would be nothing without the labor required to actually manufacture it, right? We need human labor. So that's what we're gonna look at in this particular video. We're gonna look at how our budgeting direct labor cost, okay? So direct labor cost budget estimates the direct labor hours and related costs needed to support budgeted production. So step one is to determine the budgeted direct labor hours required for production. And to do so, we have this handy dandy formula. And that equals our budgeted production volume, which comes from the production budget. And it's going to be multiplied times our direct labor hours expected per unit. And then step two is to take what we found in step one and multiply it times the hourly rate. So there's no fun in just talking through this. As we've done before, we're going to do this breakout session. And now we're going to look at formulating or creating the direct labor cost budget, right? So to do that, we've been alluding to our demonstration. So that's what I'm going to go to now, okay? All right, so here we are with the direct labor budget. Let's scoot this to the side. There we go. So here's our direct labor cost budget, and now we're going to go and fill it in, okay? All right, so to do so, remember in step one, we need to figure out what is our the hours required in each department. Now, remember we're dealing with product K and product L, right? And so what it seems like as we're constructing this budget is in order for us to complete product K, it needs to go through two departments, department number one and department number two. Now we need to understand how much time does each product spend in each department. And so to do so, we're going to get it from this information here, okay? So the way we're going to get this is from the point F. So it tells us that for product K and product L, here are the direct labor requirements. So product K will spend 0.4 hours per unit in department one and 0.15 hours per unit in department number two. So let's see how we can translate that. So here's our departments, right? Department number one and department number two. And it said that in the product K, we'll spend, I believe it was 0.4 hours in department number one, and then department number two will spend 1.5 hours, right? So then we're gonna multiply this number times the number of units we're gonna produce, right? And for K, that is gonna be a total of our 39,500. If you're still confused as to where we got this 39,500, remember this comes from our production budget here, and this is the K units that we're going to produce, and here's our 39,500. Likewise, just so I don't have to flip back, Here's product L, and we're going to produce 19,300. All right. So once we do this calculation, this will tell us how many hours is going to be required in department number 1 for all of the units that we plan to produce. And so once we do this calculation, it comes out to 15,800. Now we're going to do the same thing for department number 2, multiply it times our 39,500 units that we expect to produce, and that comes out to 5,925 hours. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing for product L. Okay, so I'm going to erase this. So as established before, we said that product L is a total number of units that we're going to multiply as times 19,300. Now, like very similar to product K, product L must also go through 2 departments, right? Product department number 1 and 2. And here's the rates or the hours needed to complete product number L. Okay, our product L. So you need 0.6 hours and 0.25 hours in each of the departments. So that's what we're going to do here. So department number 1, as mentioned before, is going to be 0.6 hours. And then department number 2 is going to be 0.25. All right. So if we're calculating our department for product L, that comes out to a total of 11,580. And then for department number 2, that comes out to 4,825. So if we add both of these, department number 1, we need a total of 27,380 hours. And for department number 2, we add those 2 together and we come up with 10,750. Now let's talk about the hourly rate. Right? Each department has an hourly rate. And so we're going to get that information from G. G gives us the direct labor rate for each department. So department number 1 is $12 per hour and department number 2 is $16 per hour. So what we're going to do is translate that to our direct labor cost budget, and we put that there, $12 and $16 per hour. And so our total direct labor cost for department number 1 is we're going to do the 27,380 hours required for both of our products times the hourly rate of $12, and we come up with $328,560. Okay, and then for department number 2, we're going to multiply our 10,750 hours required for department number 2 for each product times our $16 per hour rate, which equals 172,000. And so our total direct labor cost budget for the month of July, if we add both of those numbers together, will equal 500,560. Okay, and that's how we've come up with our direct labor cost budget. Okay, so with that, we'll take a break and then come back to the next video.